Hey YouTube, this is Shannon Lowe again, and this is the tutorial on how to use non-visual methods to rip up baseboards for the purpose of reuse. And by that I mean that we're trying not to break them. We are going to fix them up, and I think that we're probably going to have to do a tutorial later on how to prepare them for the reuse. But first is trying to get them off the walls without breaking them, so that we don't have to go and buy a lot more baseboards to put down, because we want to keep our project here as cost efficient as possible. So here we go with some baseboards. Now this was something that I had a lot of people tell me I couldn't do. So this is something that I'd like to show and really hope that I don't mess this up. So the problem with the baseboards is the paint. This house is a rental. It has been painted many times. The paint has come down over the baseboards, as well as some caulk that they've got in here. So it's not only nailed into the wall, it's got caulk, it's got paint, it's got stuff holding it on. We want to try to reuse these baseboards for this particular job, as we're putting in laminate, and the baseboards will be put back on a little bit higher above the laminate. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking out my knife again, using my box cutter, again, safety, got my gloves on. I'm feeling along the wall, and I'm going to put the blade as close to the wall as humanly possible. And I'm going to try to make a little cut in here. Okay, my goal is to not cut the wall and to not cut the baseboard, but to cut the stuff in between that's holding it. This is a more difficult process. You, of course, can just trash your baseboards and buy all new baseboards, but I'd like to save money where I can. So, putting that up. Now I'm taking my putty knife. You may have wondered why I was using a putty knife. I found that the putty knife is a great way to get kind of started getting in here. So once I've made a cut about as long as my putty knife, I've been able to kind of push that putty knife in. I can even use my hammer if I want a little bit, and help kind of push it in so that we start separating the baseboard from the wall. Now, the reason why I just did a small amount and haven't cut the whole thing is it's very hard for me to cut straight lines. I want to know where I need to cut, and this makes it really hard. So I'm pulling it out a little bit to help give myself a little more breathing room. So now I've got the putty knife stuck in about an inch or so into the top of the baseboard. I'm taking out my box cutter. And now I'm going to pull the putty knife towards me, the handle a little bit, taking my box cutter, and now I have a little bit more of an idea of where I need to cut. So as it's kind of pulling me from the wall, it's giving me a little more room of what I need to do here. So I'm going to cut a little bit more on both sides. The putty knife is just a good starter. It's not the perfect thing, but it has helped me get into that small space. If you make a little cut where you don't mean to, it's not the end of the world. Most of this stuff is going to come off, be cleaned off, and it's going to be repainted. So this putty knife is just not giving me what I need. So now I'm going to go to the big boy, go under the crowbar. The crowbar, I have been using more of that flatter side that I explained, not the curved side. And we're going to try to get that into the wall here a little bit without breaking the wood. Don't want to break the wood. Actually, I'm going to use my putty knife to help me get that in here. And for those who can't see, I'm starting to get a little bit of away from the wall. Ah, look, that's actually where the baseboard ends here. Did not break it. That was where they cut it. Ha ha. So now I've started to get a whole bunch away from the wall, and there's some stuff. I actually want to take off my glove here. I can actually feel this kind of goo stuff that's like hanging on to the wall. So as I have my crowbar in here giving me some guidance, I'm going to keep cutting along this wall and move my crowbar a little further, cut a little more, move my baseboard a little, or move my crowbar a little further. Again, it's kind of giving me guidance on where I need to cut it. And ta-da! We have taken off the baseboard. We have not broken it. It is ready for reuse. It does need to be cleaned up. So there are some gooey stuff you're going to feel kind of on the top, some caulk, some paint, things like that where it obviously doesn't meet up. You can do this. You can have someone else do this. But I have been doing some of this myself. I've been taking my box cutter and I've just been cutting some of this off, helping to start get this cleaned up. So I'm going to get these ready. It's a little more longer, but as you can see, pretty easy, just cutting off the gunk to get this back to the original baseboard. Something I would also like to point out here, these are held by both caulk and nails. So there should be, there's a nail hole, but there's no nail, which is telling me that somewhere here on the ground is yet another nail. So I'm feeling around. I don't feel it. Could be in the, right here on the wall. Take my crowbar again and actually take my nice side of the crowbar, my curvy side, stick it in, and we just pull out the nail. Plain and simple. There's my nail, goes in my sharp box. And there we go. We've had the carpet ripped up. We have the tack strips off. We have the baseboard off, and it's even reusable for after we put down the vinyl. All right, guys, so now we have our baseboards off, and the next step is going to be preparing them for reuse. Not a big process, just taking out some nails, sanding them down, doing a little painting. So we'll do a separate tutorial on that, which will be posted up in a day or so. And I will also be posting up some tutorials on painting, just to make sure you all feel comfortable with what you're doing with painting the baseboards, as well as painting some of the walls, because my children have colored on quite a few of them. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get our baseboards ready, and we're going to continue making this house look awesome. And while we're doing it, putting on some tutorials that hopefully help out our blind friends out there. So thank you so much for watching Low Vision, and stay tuned, subscribe so that you can be notified when we have our next videos up. And please feel free to leave comments with questions or with any suggestions of things you want to see done. So please put it up there. Happy to do tutorials on whatever you guys are interested in. Thank you so much. Have a great day.